Peace and blessings, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Albert, and in today's episode I'm gonna review this Bumblebee here. And well, I never thought in my life that I'm gonna drive the Nissan Juke. Nevertheless, reviewed this one, but I have to tell you that after driving it today and well, playing with it a little bit, I was quite surprised by the amount of gadgets that this car has to offer, like a 360 degrees camera system and blind spot assistance and, well, heated seats. And it has something on the inside that kind of reminds you of the Nissan GTR. Now, probably many of you didn't drove the GTR. I never drove a Nissan GTR. I would love to drive one, but till now I never did. So I've seen it on other reviews, and yes, this car has a couple of things that resemble with the GTR. So in today's episode I'm gonna review this one, I'm gonna drive it, and I'm gonna share the experience with you. So see you in a bit. Now, this car was offered by my friends from Carset. Carset are a specialized second-hand car dealership located in Ipswich. All the cars come with 6 months RAC warranty, which is extendable up to 3 years. If you have a car that you would like to part exchange, go to Carset. If you want your car to be delivered all the way across UK, they can help you with that. If you have a low credit score and you would like to get a car from Carset, well, they can provide finance as well. So check them out at carset.co.uk, and actually you might want to book a test drive with this Bumblebee here, or check out their inventory, carset.co.uk. Once upon a time, in a faraway land called Japan, there was a car company called Nissan. They wanted to make a car that was funky, quirky, and, well, weird. And so they created the Nissan Juke. At first, people really didn't know what to make of it. Was it a car? Was it a spaceship? Was it a toaster on wheels? But slowly, people started to warm up to the Juke's appearance. It became a hit in Europe, in Japan, but it took a while to catch up in America. But it did catch on really fast, and soon everyone was driving in this little funky crossover. And even today, I have to tell you that this is one of the most weirdest crossovers on the market. But it has technology on it. It drives, it has the Nissan reliability. And, well, I do think that this little crossover will surprise you as much as it surprised me. The Juke's front end is like a cartoon character who was brought to life. It has those big bug eyes that stare at you at all time and seems to know all your secrets. Now, this grille over here looks like the car is smiling all the time, and I know that this front end here, it's something that only a mother can love. But somehow it grew on me, and I do like how this one looks. It's odd, quirky, and well, it makes you smile when you see it on the road. Now, right here we have the turn signals, and I do have to tell you that I like how these turn signals are integrated into the body of the car. It gives the car a very unique and distinctive look. Right down here we have the headlights, and yes, they are very, very big. And as well as down here we have fog lights. So you get what I'm saying, that this car looks like a little bit of Bumblebee from Transformers. Now, I like how the Nissan badge was placed here in the middle of the car with this chrome finish, giving it more of a luxurious style. Overall, the front end of the Nissan is quirky, fun to look at, and sometimes you might consider it ugly. But boy, this is a car that I like to see on the roads now. It makes me smile all the time. It's time to see the engine of the Nissan Juke, or to see the heart of Bumblebee, as I like to call it. Yeah, I know, funny, ain't it? So, this car has a 1.2 turbocharged petrol engine which develops 115 horsepower and 190 Newton meters, and it goes from 0 to 60 in something. Now, what's interesting about this car is the fact that it has a 6-speed manual gearbox, and combined with this engine, it manages to do 50 miles per gallon, which is quite impressive considering that this is not a light car. This is quite a heavy car, and I have to tell you that this engine pulls quite good. It's agile and well, it's fun to drive around town. So yes, this 1.2 engine is quite economical and quite nippy. The side of the car is a sight to behold. It's like a piece of modern art on wheels. The roof swoops down like a bird of prey ready to pounce on its next meal. Those exaggerated wheel arches are like the biceps of a bodybuilder. Yeah, I know, seems odd. But it's not all about looks. The Juke's side profile also serves a purpose. The high waistline gives it a sporty athletic look, while the compact size makes it perfect for city driving. You have keyless entry by pressing this button over here. We have the turn signals integrated in the mirrors. Also, we do have these 17-inch wheels that enhances the size of the car. Now I have to tell you that from this side, the Nissan Juke is a little bit better looking than the front end of the car. Another thing that I want to mention is the fact that this car has a 360-degree camera system, and it has a camera fitted right here underneath the mirror. Overall, the side of the Nissan Juke, it's quite good looking. I mean, it seems very sporty. The rear end of the Nissan Juke is a thing of beauty. It's like a car equivalent of a superhero cape, bold, dynamic, and ready to take on the world. The taillights are sleek, with just the right amount of attitude, and this rear spoiler here is like a miniature airplane wing designed to keep the Juke planted firmly on the ground. But the rear standout features that muscular rear bumper. It's like the Juke has been hitting the gym with bulging curves and sharp lines that scream power and performance. In the middle, we do have the fog light, because of course here we have the brake light. Now underneath here we have the camera for the 360 degrees camera system. And I like how the rear end of this car looks. Actually, it's a lot better than the front of the car, and yes, more sexier. What do you guys think about comparing the rear end with the front end? And now it's time to check the luggage compartment of this car. Now, if you open the boot right here, you have, well, 422 liters of cargo space. But if you manage to drop the back seats down, well, you will get 1,300 liters. So overall, I think it's quite a spacious car. And yes, we're gonna close this. Now, this isn't a power-operated boot, but it closes really easy. Now it's time to check out the interior of the Nissan Juke. Now it's time to talk about the interior of the Nissan Juke. First of all, the interior design is quite interesting. You have the sensation of a bigger car than actually this one is. The leather, it's very soft. The seats, yes, I do like the seats. I have to tell you that the seats are very elegant, and they do offer the decent amount of lumbar support that you need. Now, these aren't the best seats I ever sat in, but they are not bad as well. What's the first thing that you notice? Well, the first thing that you notice is the steering wheel, which I have to tell you that it's interesting due to the fact that it has this fake aluminium here that emphasizes a little bit of the sportiness of this car. Now this car doesn't have that much sportiness in its heart, but nevertheless the gauge cluster, it's interesting, still has this aluminium finish gauges that are surrounding the real gauges, and it's giving the car a sporty sense as well. Now I like the fact that you have here this central console. Right here you have two cup holders, and they are decent size, and actually one of them it's bigger than the other. Right here we do have the armrest, which has decent amount of space. Now what's interesting about this car, it's where they placed the heated seats, and you can control the heated seats right from here, which is a little bit odd. I was expecting to be somewhere around here, but nevertheless the heated seats are placed right here. So if you buy a Juke and you don't know where your heated seats are, check out under the armrest. The hazard button was placed right here in the middle. Now a couple of interesting things that this interior has are the climate vents. You have two round climate vents on the sides, and right here you have these spherical air vents that, well, are integrated into the dashboard area. What I like about this is the fact that this car has some things covered in leather that gives it a more luxurious aspect, including this piece of dashboard here and the door handles. And yes, I have to tell you, it's a nice place to be in this Nissan Juke. Now let's talk about the infotainment system. This car has a touchscreen, which is interesting. It's a little bit small, but nevertheless you have the navigation system, you have radio, you have CD and auxiliary. This car has a Bluetooth connection. You can connect your phone and you can listen to music in your Nissan Juke. When you press this button over here, you have the camera system, which, one second, I have to put the ignition on. This car actually has a 360 degrees camera system. Now the resolution of the screen isn't that good. The quality isn't the best. It's quite a little bit dated, but I have to tell you that it's pretty nice having a 360 degree camera system on your Nissan Juke. If you go through the setup, you will actually see that you have the audio, the navigation, traffic messages, telephone and Bluetooth, and you go through the system. Now while you go through the system, you have the display, the clock, language, driving aids, and you see that this car has driver assistance, moving object detection, lane departure, which this car has, blind spot detection, and yes, you can choose your camera settings right here. So this car has some neat driver assistance options that can make your driving experience a little bit better with this car. Overall, the infotainment system is quite easy to use. It's intuitive, and well, it's kind of pleasant to look at. What's interesting is that you have two screens over here. So, well, this one here controls the driving mode. When you can actually see, you press this here and you have the normal mode, you press the sport, you have the sport, and you press the echo and the screen changes. Now if you press the climate, this turns into the climate controls, which is an interesting feature that Nissan created over here. I have to tell you that I do like this feature on this car. It's a little bit odd due to the fact that you have two screens over here, but well, what can you do about this? And down here we have the USB plug and a jack plug to connect to the infotainment system, and you have a power socket right over here. Yes, hello, jumping in the rear seats of the Juke. Now, I do have the seat adjusted as I sit, and yes, I do have a decent amount of legroom, but right here my hair is touching the roof, which it's not necessarily bad, but remember that I'm 5.11 and 5'10"ish, 5.11, almost 5.11, and yes, here I can hit the roof. Now back here there aren't any important things, because you don't have cup holders, you don't have an armrest, and somehow this material over here feels a bit cheap, which is a shame considering that the rest of the materials that they used creating this car are quite good. I don't know why they left this material here. It's a little bit odd, but nevertheless, this is the back seats of the Nissan Juke. So it's time to drive the Nissan Juke. I have to put my seatbelt on because I have to have the seatbelt. Now I'm gonna start this car by pressing this button here, because this car has keyless entry and keyless start, which is interesting. Now when I start the car, the gauge cluster goes like this. Right here we have the blind assistance sensor, which lights up when you have a car in your blind spot, which is quite interesting. Now let's put the car into the first gear and let's move on. And yes, now I have to tell you that the Nissan Juke is quite an interesting little crossover. I did enjoy driving it. I never in my life expected to enjoy this car as I did today, because usually when I saw it, I really thought and still think a bit that it's a little bit of an ugly car. But at the end of the day, having these gadgets on it, it makes it quite an interesting choice. Now, the things that I like about it are these. You have blind spot assistance, you have 360 degrees camera system, you have heated seats, you have leather seats, you have a small economical engine, which told you guys it does around 50 miles per gallon, and it's quite agile when you need it to be agile. The ride quality of the car, it's quite good. There is minimal road noise, and overall the quality of the materials, I have to tell you that they are quite good. I didn't expect this car to be this good. I really thought that I'm gonna drive it and probably I'm not gonna even enjoy it, but I actually did enjoy it because, well, it's a nice car. It's a little bit quirky, I have to admit. It's quirky on the outside, the front end, with those big bug eyes, they stare at you, and it's kind of a creepy feeling sometimes. But overall, I do like how this car drives. I do like how this car behaves on the road, and the amount of technology that it has, well, it's enough for you to enjoy this car daily. So overall, if you want to buy a Nissan Juke for your lady, for your wife, and even for yourself, if you like this kind of quirky car, well, just go for it. Honestly, it's been a big surprise for me, so yes, I do encourage you to get one of these if you are in the market for a quirky little crossover. So yes, that was it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel. A lot more things are coming into the near future, and a lot of interesting cars are being filmed already, and well, are gonna be filmed even in the near future. In the meantime, I wish you all the best, and well, yes, peace and blessings to all of you. See you very, very soon.